Everybody here ain't Paul George. Everybody here ain't Siakam, y'all.
I'm telling you, just another day in the NBA when they overlook Siakam. In the Athletic this time, they'll rank the top 125 players in the league, and this is the tier 3 of this ranking, so number 21 to number 40 in the league. Top 40 players, okay, come on, this has to be good. Siakam is apparently in the tier 3B, and you can see it right here alongside guys like Jamal Murray and Shea. And up there in 3A, you got guys like Jaylen Brown and Bam Adebayo and Drew Hall. This is going to be a long video. So essentially with Jaylen Brown, it's pretty cut and dry. Just coming off a finals run, averaging great numbers in the regular season, under great shooting splits. I mean, this is a no-brainer, right? Jaylen Brown, tier 3A, he's amongst the top 30 players at most. And many people thinking, well, yeah, if he was a first option in Boston, he'd be better than Siakam. But I beg to differ, because some people like to think that he is a first option. He's a 1B to Tatum.
Why are they so quick to trade Jaylen Brown is my question to you. Why are they so quick to trade Jaylen Brown? Are they considered, like, is Jaylen Brown really the guy that they really should be looking to trade?
That's what
So when Jaylen Brown's name was thrown around in a potential Kevin Durant trade in late July, yeah, this is what they said.
I know it's blasphemous to say it.
No, it's not. It's not.
I swear, Brody, it came to my mind. I was like, are they gonna trade the right one?
That's what I'm saying. But you know what? Let me tell you. You basically get the same production out of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
So that's why Jason Tatum was 6th in MVP voting, All-NBA first team, and Jaylen Brown, where's his name at? Let's just get to the Bleacher Report redraft of the 2016 NBA draft, which Jaylen Brown was in, and also Pascal Siakam. Well, we're going to tie things together here, because I want to criticize this draft right here. I mean, just look at the first 5 picks. Complete insanity. I mean, they got guys like Jamal Murray and Dejounte Murray ahead of Siakam. Ben Simmons? Okay, this is getting crazy. We gotta go through this, okay, one by one, step by step, because this is going to be a doozy. Pascal Siakam at number 6 is honestly one of the most ridiculous things I've seen in a redraft in a long time, and we're gonna have to dice it up. Okay, Pascal Siakam. It'll be more interesting to go through the drawbacks of picking Siakam here, saying that his below average effective field goal percentage isn't ideal, but as is the case with Fred VanVleet, the Raptors shooting numbers are better when he plays. Okay, so let's get to the 5th pick, Ben Simmons. And as critical as I've been on Ben Simmons and his latest saga of the last season, I have to say his case is pretty set in stone. Simmons' multifaceted game has put him in a rare company of guys, okay? He has, through his 275 career games, he totaled 2,217 rebounds and 2,127 assists. Only Oscar Robertson and Magic Johnson have done this in league history, okay? But the question still remains, will he play this season? I mean, just look at how many missed games he's had. 2 full seasons worth of missed games, okay? So many missed games. This guy, there's a reason why we're so harsh on him. Now, Ben Simmons, I have a question for you. Are you going to play this season?
I hope so.
Now, I do appreciate you taking your time out of your day to answer these questions from us. Okay, I just want to know the drama between KD and the Nets. Just, can you divulge how much of it is true?
Man, we'll be here for a while if that's the case. There's been, I mean, everybody has a source, right?
Fair enough. Last question with Kendall. Did you pull out?
No, I did not.
Oh boy, I didn't expect that answer to come. Alright, moving on to Dejounte Murray now. 4th pick in this redraft. Yeah, he's an interesting prospect. I mean, I see why he's been picked so high. Look at his averages over the last season. 21 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, and 2 steals. The only player to ever have a stat like that in the history of NBA. That's pretty unique. And I gotta give it to Dejounte. But he has his weaknesses too. Below average effective field goal percentage too. He at least shot it well enough to force defenders to pay attention to him outside. And oh boy, this is where we get to the BS. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this beef was hilarious. Him and Paolo Banchero going back and forth. But we gotta talk about the real serious elephant in the room here, okay? Let's be fair. He shot a 3-point field goal of 32%. Okay, they're talking about effective field goal percentage. but they did add a caveat that his 3-point shooting is good enough for defenders to pay attention to him. Siakam, they didn't say anything like that. I mean, he shoots it at 34% last season, unlike Dejounte's 32%. Yeah, I just thought I'd add this part up because it really does show the inconsistencies that are applied when drafting guys. And unfortunately, there's factors outside of Siakam's control to where like he was set to fail in terms of, being in the top 5. And mind you, these are guys, by the way, Dejounte Murray being injury prone. He missed a full season with a torn ACL. I mean, that's got to be taken into factor as well. Also, I'm really glad this beef ended. I mean, it wasn't really a beef, was it? Now, Jamal Murray, okay, Canadian, I love him. 3rd pick in this redraft, and I get it. He's pretty good. His upside, I mean, just look at what they're saying here. If he makes a full recovery from his ACL injury, it isn't hard to imagine multiple All-Star appearances in his future. It's pretty clear that he is riding the high wave of that 2020 bubble run.
This crazy thing out here being in the bubble. I got to see this dude right after the game.
Hey, man, get out of here. Get out of here.
Now, we've already discussed Jaylen Brown a bit in the beginning. 2nd pick of this redraft. Again, coming off a finals run, he looks like the better player out of most of these guys, but he still has a ways to go as a ball handler and facilitator. But this is where we get to the reasons they really chose these guys. They're young.
He want to talk about me. Look at him. Creeping ass. Look at you. Look at you, bro. Talk about me fucking. I've seen you 5 times in the span of 30 minutes.
And as if 25 wasn't young enough, we have now the 1st pick of the 2016 redraft, according to Bleacher Report, Brandon Ingram. And he was originally a 2nd pick, so this is funny. They say he got the nod for a few reasons. First and foremost being that he has shown significant strides as a facilitator. And finally, there's also Ingram's age. Again, the biggest thing that we see from this whole redraft is that these guys are much younger than Siakam, right? 2 to 3 years younger. Brandon Ingram, we seen what he did in the playoffs in the 1st round against the Suns. He was electric. I mean, just look at his averages during the season without Zion Williamson as a first option. It really did look like Ingram. I mean, he took strides, and he's eventually going to be an all-star player. But we gotta really talk about that hairdo, man. Come on, man. We're not in quarantine anymore, man. You could go get yourself a barber. Now, Siakam's averages, I mean, they're all pretty much higher than Ingram's except for the assists per game. So you're really telling me that Siakam is a 6th pick, even though he's better than Ingram because he's 28 and Ingram's 24? Is that really the real reason? I think not.
Sitting here because I'm doing the show from Toronto, Canada. Yes, I did have to go through customs. Yes, they kept me for 90 damn minutes. Yes, I'm unapologetic about the fact that I am actually rooting against the Toronto Raptors.
So if you're not a Canadian Raptors fan like me, you probably most likely have never seen this interview, this clip, this rant that Stephen A. Smith's about to go on.
Getting here is a problem. Getting here is a problem. And I'm not getting away from that. Now, listen, I'm an American citizen, okay? And I understand that, getting into the country is supposed to be difficult. But damn it, I didn't think getting into Canada was going to be that difficult, but it is. And I don't have global entry. And boy, did I pay for it yesterday. I know I'm whining. I know I'm complaining. I don't give a damn.
It's funny seeing him complain about something that was completely preventable. I mean, he could have just gotten global entry, and he knows it too. And mind you, this whole global entry thing is a product of the American government's overreach that happened post 9/11. So really, you should be mad at the U.S. for this. Now, this is not where the anger ends. This is not where the resentment of Canada ends for Stephen A. He said this after Kawhi gets traded. This is what happens when you only play 9 games but act like you played 82. You get exiled to another country. Kawhi may be big time, but evidently not big enough. And Stephen A., he went on to continue after the Raptors won a championship.
Where do you want to see Kawhi go?
I want to see him with the Clippers. I don't want a champion being in Canada again. Mm-hmm. The city of Toronto is great, but we know Canada loves its hockey. They had their good moments and all of that stuff, but damn it, I want the NBA champion to be an American team. I'm just going to be clear.
The point that I'm really trying to illustrate here is that these articles we see in the beginning, and then you got the media scheduling, only giving the Raptors 4 national TV slots for the US, ESPN, TNT, ABC. I mean, this is just ludicrous, and we see why. And by the way, those NBA TV slots do not count as national TV in my eyes, okay? Nobody cares about NBA TV as far as I'm concerned. Actually, I'm lying. I sometimes do get invested in what they have to offer.
Jordan, you're 22, right?
Yes, ma'am.
See, he's calling me ma'am. What are we doing? Like, Draymond just admitted we're old now.
Absolutely.
If I were in Poole's place, I'd be calling her mommy. I mean, do you not see what I see? This is perfection! Now, what's funny is that the Raptors last year actually had 2 scheduled national TV games.
And Twan, you touched on this. See, I don't think KD would want to go to Toronto.
And I don't even have to go too far to get clips like these where it just paints a poor picture.
And you're right, Nick. I visited there many times. Obviously, I was there covering the league. Great city. But Twan, you know, it's not America. And you feel it when you're there. I'm telling you.
What is he implying with this statement? What is he trying to say here?
Especially as an African American. It's a different situation than African Americans are used to being in. And I've talked to people in that organization pre-Ujiri about can they keep African American superstars there. Tracy McGrady left. Vince Carter left. Chris Bosh left. You mentioned Kawhi.
Yes, it's true. Those players did leave on their own volition. But you're implying that they left because of them being treated worse, because of them being African American? Is that really what you're saying right now, bro?
I don't think KD would be happy there, and that would be a problem. That's why, to Ujiri's credit, he's made them an international team.
And that's very true. I don't think the Raptors have ever had an American superstar come their way during free agency, but this just seems like he's pushing an agenda.
I would not want to live there personally. Mm-hmm. It's what you watch on, what you can get on television, the grocery stores. Mm-hmm. Lou Williams said you got to get a Canadian banking account. You go through customs every time you fly out to a game.
Now I get it's not going to be as convenient to go to Canada because, of course, it's not the U.S. But it's clear you just don't like Canadians.
They're soft. And it's not Kawhi Leonard.
At this point, the Raptors were down 1-2 against the Sixers in the 2019 second round.
They were soft before Kawhi got there, and they're still soft. He's not soft, but what is going on? I mean, this is a soft team. It's been that way for the last 5 or 6 years.
Thank you. And by the way, I love Canada.
Of course a white person would say that. Oh, my God.
Canada's soft.
They're nice.
I like visiting, too, but it's soft. All right? Drake is a dope rapper. He's a little soft.
I love how the NBA is trying to get global. I mean, you got them resuming the global games after, the COVID-19 hiatus they had in 2020, of course, when everybody was basically out of commission. Now, it's not just in Japan that they will play games. Apparently in France, too, Killing Hayes will play games, too. I mean, this is a beautiful thing to say. The NBA getting global. Basketball is a global sport. You're going to see it be getting more popular, growing faster than any other sport in terms of popularity. But no, these guys are going to keep saying what they have to say. They're going to keep being stupid, even though we know where the game is headed to a global stage. Eventually, the U.S. will meet its match in the Olympics. We'll see. And one of the guys Broussard referenced, he had some things to say about this as well.
I've had my ups and downs with Toronto for whatever reason, being traded and all that. But one thing Toronto is not is an awkward city for an African American.
Look, we know Vince Carter. He had his problems with the Raptors. It left a stain to all of us fans, but things have moved on now. We love him just like we know he loves us so dearly.
There's players who are dying to get to Toronto, saying Toronto was one of the best kept secret, which was, I'm well documented saying that 20 years ago. And it's just disappointing to hear that. I'm just like, where do you get that information from? What players have you quoted? Is that your personal opinion? No, it's not America.
It really is just his opinion. It's what he thinks of the country, of the city, of the people there, and we've seen it. Okay, Kyle Lowry, he had a response too. He had some things to say about the whole situation, and he's the GOAT.
I don't talk about others and what people say because I don't care to.
Very mature response, a class act all through and through. That's why he's our GOAT.
I am a black African American, black from 20th and Lehigh, North Philadelphia. I absolutely love Toronto.
And yes, by the way, for those wanting to know more about this interview, it was during the same interview where he talked about Jimmy Butler's hairdo, whatever the hell that was. I really just don't understand what came up in his mind to do this crap. I mean, it looks gross.
So when you see him with the locks, I heard about him. I didn't see him yet. I heard about
I talked to him on FaceTime on Tuesday. I believe it was Tuesday. And I said, what the you got he said, he's on fire, yo. This, it's fire. He said, I said, bro, come on. I ain't said nothing. I said,
come on, man. At least Kyle Lowry kept it a cool bean. I mean, this is gross, but not as gross as what Chris Broussard did after saying those horrendous things about the Canadian city of Toronto. He said this afterwards. He said, I never said blacks are treated worse in Toronto in America. Never. That's ridiculous. You implied it, though, Chris. You have to understand what that means. And as if not to expose himself in the same tweet, look at what he says at the end. Very diverse city, but just 8% black? I love visiting Toronto. Visiting! And yeah, people clap back because of course Broussard was wrong to say this. I mean, Toronto has, in terms of percentages, more blacks in the city than a city like Phoenix and San Francisco, cities that, reportedly KD was slated to potentially be traded to. Yeah, that essentially just makes you look worse. Apparently LA is also 8% black too. What is he even trying to say right now? And yeah, you look further into these stats, you could see that cities like Portland, cities like Salt Lake City, I mean, cities like San Antonio, come on, bro. Denver, at least, I mean, that's Denver. I don't think KD wants to go there, but look, we all know Chris Broussard is full of crap. I mean, Norman Powell knows it too. If that were the case, why do guys like LeBron and Draymond love coming here? I mean, they love coming here during events. And I know that's just events, but let's be honest with ourselves, man. Toronto has a very diverse set of cultures in terms of, not just people from the Caribbean. You got people from all over living in Toronto. It's one of the most diverse cities in the world. LeBron James, I mean, he had a little event himself to kick off the weekend in Toronto where the Caribbean Carnival was supposed to be set. The OVO Weekend Festival was, all this stuff happened in early August. But Chris Broussard, he went on to say this to try to end the whole conversation by quoting an article written by Ethan Strauss talking about how Broussard was not in the wrong to say what the things he said. Yeah, okay, we're going to take the word from this guy on what is right and wrong in terms of what Chris Broussard said. This is the same guy, by the way, I don't know if this is relevant, that, KD had a problem with because of his practices.
You've obviously been around the noise for so long. Is it bothering you more this year? Is it louder this year?
It's unnecessary. You got to do Ethan Strauss who come in here and just give his whole opinion on stuff and make it seem like it's coming from me. And he just walk around here, don't talk to nobody, just walk in here and survey and then write something like that. And now y'all piling on me because I don't want to talk to y'all about that.
Now I'm pretty sure you've watched my previous video. You know for a fact I don't like Kevin Durant, man. I do not like this guy. But I will say, this is too far. Ethan Strauss, this guy wrote a whole book after, spending his time talking to people around the Warriors uniform. He was trying to get a scoop on KD. He was trying to expose some things. And, KD, you just called him out. I can respect it, man. KD is just defending himself because these guys are clearly out there with an agenda. And I know people will argue, I am pushing an agenda with the Siakam propaganda. And I'll gladly say I am because he was one of the best players that wasn't nominated to an All-Star game in this season. I'd say he's the best player, let's be honest. But let's not forget, Siakam came off a shoulder surgery in June of 2021 when the season ended in Tampa. And coming back to Toronto, he had to go for rehab during the offseason.
Obviously, shoulder, I think, just had the surgery. Was really thinking about it. I mean, it's my first surgery, so I was definitely a little scared. But everything's been going super well. Just continuing to, rehab. I was in LA the whole summer, just getting right, and I think, it's moving in the right direction right now. So. And
yeah, the Raptors came off a horrid season in Tampa, where now they were set to play back in Toronto. Of course, this season that Pascal Siakam just played, an All-NBA season. This was a transition year, guys. You have to understand.
Super happy to be back. I think just, coming to the arena, feeling the cold air and everything, it feels normal. And I'm super excited to be back.
And we can't forget the Lowry trade to Miami. Precious came in, Dragic. It was really a scramble to try to assemble this new core now, relatively. So, Pascal Siakam being a secondary ball handler now. And this is the first offseason where these guys can actually mold, try to get better. And finally, Pascal Siakam's healthy and he's looking good in these runs that he's been doing. I mean, we see the clips, he looks nice. And obviously, we could say that about any team that posts clips like this. But think about it though. This is an offseason where he's able to be healthy, where the season prior he was hurt, and he comes in, plays an All-NBA basketball, and they're the 5th seed, okay, in the East. Come on. Like, this has to be stated more than anything. People hear me say, All NBA, All NBA. Well, if he was a guard, he wouldn't make it. Okay, as much as I can agree with that argument, you have to realize too, Siakam did something that most guards didn't even do this season. And during the season that he had, where he was 3rd team All-NBA alongside guys like Cat and guys like LeBron, he is one of 5 players to average over 22 points a game, over 8 rebounds a game, and over 5 assists a game. Guys like Giannis, Luka, Jokic, and LeBron are in that list, by the way. It's funny seeing LeBron being the only American player amongst that top 5. It shows you where the league is headed in a couple of years. Now, I'll try to go through some of the narratives that have stuck with Siakam to this day, and are part of the reasons why a lot of people are still looking down on him, overlooking some of the things he's done over the last 3 years. Even though he's the only player in his draft class to have won a title in his career, he was a 3rd option doing so in 2019, and so you can't really put much stock in that. Even though he made his first All-Star game in 2020, had a breakout year, All-NBA 2nd team that year, he got torched. Jaylen Brown on defense made him look like a shell of himself, and you have people still bringing this part of Siakam's career up to this day.
It's a host of players, 45 plus. Ball poked away. Jaylen Brown throws it ahead to Tatum. Tatum goes up and throws it down.
And now he's a 2-time All-NBA player. A 1-time All-Star, would have arguably been an All-Star if he had been healthy, full season. And I'm telling you, things are going up from here.
Siakam has been notorious for using the summer to take those huge jumps. What have you seen from him, and does he feel like he's back to where he was in those other summers?
Looks absolutely spectacular. He really does. Just sit there and you watch him work out. His athleticism is electric. His focus is his shot is smooth and soft. He looks great.
Unfortunately, this time you got season predictions actually looking fairly good for the Raptors, still being a 5th seed in the East, but winning 47 games. This is a pretty decent prediction. I'm not going to say too much about this one. Very realistic outlook, and the Raptors, they could really surprise some people even more. I really do think the Raptors, you've seen it over the last 8 years. 7 of the last 8 years, the Raptors have gone over the odds makers in terms of winning more games, way more games than expected, than projected, and it's just a tradition at this point for any bettor to go over on any Raptors prediction. Just look at this DraftKings over-under odds. I think a lot of people are going to bet over this season. Now, we have to talk about this Bleacher Report's ranking as well. The season predictions they've had, they put Toronto at 6th place, tied 5th with the Brooklyn Nets, and I think this is a fairly realistic prediction as well. But mind you, the Toronto Raptors, this is their full offseason, healthy now. Guys are reacclimated to each other. This new core with Precious Achiuwa. This is going to be a very exciting lineup to watch. I'm telling you guys, do not sleep on the Raptors this year because it's going to be lights out. I know there's a lot of good teams in the NBA. Last season, same thing was being said. The Raptors, there's so many good teams in the East. And look what they did. They were the 5th seed. And the schedule actually seems to be favoring us in a way. Okay, we'll get into this. Let's see here. The number of games that the Raptors have more rest days than their opponents. They have the 3rd most of those games. The number of games the opponent has more rest days than the Raptors. They have the 4th least number of those games. Those are really good odds for us right there. And number of back-to-backs for each team. The Raptors, where are they at? They have the least number of back-to-backs. That is really good news to hear. Last but not least, the distance traveled by each team during the season. Raptors, 2nd least distance traveled in a season, that's going to be very, very good for the Raptors in terms of the continuity, in terms of having more rest days. I'm telling you, this actually may be the NBA giving us a favor after all these years of screwing us over. Are we going to win a title next season? Probably not. But are we going to be a dark horse contender? I think so. I really do think that's where the Raptors can really surprise some people. Not just be a 5th seed in the East or a 6th seed. They'll be, I think, in the top 4, perhaps even top 3 at their best. We're coming, baby. We're coming. We're coming for that trophy. Bring Larry back home. We're coming for that trophy. Mark my words, we're going to get that trophy. Scotty is going to be our savior. He's going to lead us to the promised land. He's going to split the Red Sea. He's going to give us what we deserve. A championship. I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to the season. I'll be honest with you. This is going to be a fun season. I can't wait. Bye-bye.